Good morning. It's 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. I'm excited to be here again, and welcome to our Facebook Live that we're going to talk about the first step. Now, last week we talked a little bit about growing and refining yourself. This is part of the G.A.R.Y series, and you will hear more little G.A.R.Y-isms from time to time. So this whole thing about refining ourselves, what is the first step? Have any of you thought about what might be the first step? If you guessed forgiveness, you're absolutely correct, because the first step in our journey of refining who we are is to forgive ourselves. It's not about forgiving others. It's about forgiving ourselves for things that we feel we may have done that might not have been the best choices, and things that we may not have done that maybe we feel we should have done. So forgiveness is the frequency that will clear the blocks, because we all have these blocks at all levels. When we have physical pain, it's at the physical level. When we have emotional pain, it's at the emotional level. When we have mental pain, it's at the mental level, the spiritual level, and the energetic level. So if we feel off balance, it's because we truly should focus. It would be appropriate to focus on that frequency of forgiving ourselves, to look a little bit deeper. So I mentioned some oils yesterday when we put the poster up. I've actually added some. I'm sorry. You know, I tend to do that. However, the first thing we're going to do, all of the blends and oils that I selected for today include geranium, except for the first one. Say the first one, and I'm holding geranium, the Sacred Mountain, which is going to help to ground us. So if you have Sacred Mountain or Valor or one of the oils, the balsam fir, that you find extremely grounding, apply it now and breathe it in. And just intend to make that strong connection with the Creator, with your source, and to ground to the earth so that we can be more focused and more present. And now, all of the blends, as I said, will include geranium. Most of Gary Young's blends that are focused on emotions actually do contain geranium. Have you ever noticed that? So this is a major oil that I use every single day. It's part of my morning routine, my evening routine, my every time routine, because among other things, I use it as part of my deodorant. So I'm not going to do that while I'm on camera. However, I am going to apply geranium. Geranium is a wonderful oil for clearing those blocks, and it anchors this energy of forgiveness. This glyph is from the Rainbow Healing Cards, and I'm going to talk about it a bit because the color, which is kind of a warm pink color, and the shape of the glyph, and the oils that anchor it, the oil of geranium, can assist us in really forgiving ourselves for those things that we feel we could have done better or that we didn't do at all. So no one can forgive us. We have to forgive ourselves. And it's not about forgiving others. That's rather arrogant to think that we can forgive others. We have a part in every interaction that goes on in our lives. So what we can do, we can't change another. but we can change ourselves, and we can change the way that we look at ourselves. Would you agree? So, for those of you who love crystals, the crystal of rhodochrosite looks like this. This is just a little slab that someone gave me way back 15 years ago. And it was a bigger slab, and I've kind of, little pieces have broken off, and I carry them different places. Some of them are in Bali now, and I'm loving being there. So this will also anchor that energy. You may want to hold on to a little piece of rhodochrosite, or get one to put in your home, near your bedside, wherever. So what are we talking about actually doing when we're unblocking? We're opening up the channels. Would you agree? So this is a very, very important thing for us to really, it's not difficult. It's just to let go. And some of the other, I pulled out all of the Rainbow Healing card combinations that had the forgiveness in it. And I'm going to go through these just a little bit, just to kind of get your attention focused, and you may find that some of these speak to you more than others, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do next, or the next thing that I'm going to do, is apply one of the blends, or maybe we'll apply more than one of the blends. Forgiveness. How many of you have ever used the forgiveness blend? And again, guess which essential oil single is the first one that's listed as the ingredients here? You guessed geranium. You're absolutely correct. So I'm going to apply forgiveness on my wrists, on my palms, behind my ears, over my throat, because it will really help a great deal. It will be very supportive. And I knocked over my bottle of geranium. Just remember to breathe in these oils as you're applying them. And because I'm a visual person, those of you who watch me know that I just intend that these little molecules go wherever they need to go to do their thing. And I'm visualizing them traveling through my legs and my arms and throughout every organ in my body, just loosening up things and unblocking whatever blocks are there. It's not necessary for us to really know where the blocks are, what it is. It's just important to intend that they be unblocked. Does that make sense? Okay. So the next thing next blend that I chose is release, because we all hold on to things that we know many times mentally, we know that it's time to let go of them, but it is so very, very difficult. Would you agree? So this essential oil blend, which of course also has quite a bit of geranium in it, is going to help us to release, whether it's fears or beliefs or whatever it is that is causing us to hold on to those things that are no longer serving us. And you just intend that this happen. Now, those of you who follow me understand that the word intend is very important to me, because I feel that when we ask for something to happen, we're sitting here waiting in a passive mode for something to happen. However, when we intend for something to happen, then we are putting our energy, our will, and our passion behind making it happen. Do you see the difference there? So to me, intent is a very powerful word. And I was so excited a few years ago when Gary Young made the statement, These oils are living oils that are capable of carrying intent. Yesterday I was in Singapore at the Seedlings launch, and two of the speakers talked about the fact that these oils, when we use them with intent, increases the power tremendously, many, many times over. So as we are using them, I'll use the phrase that Patricia G.A.R.Y used yesterday. They're packets of possibilities. So all these little molecules in each one of these blends and each one of the single oils is a packet of possibilities. And it can do whatever we intend for it to do. So if you don't have the particular single oil or blend that we are talking about, use what you have with intent. Does that make sense? Okay, so how are we feeling? I'm going to next use the blend of Envision. Now, why did I choose Envision? You may not have all of these. Again, you can intend with whatever you're holding. Envision, to envision ourselves as being that magnificent creature, that magnificent being that we were created to be. Each one of us was created with a perfect set of knowledge and abilities to do something. And we've lost sight of what that might be. So Envision may assist us here, if I can open my bottle. So this is a blend that I love to use. I mean, this always makes me feel, I like to also use it up here over my third eye. Give me better vision. And again, don't ever forget to breathe these oils in, because the molecules travel up the nostrils and absorb through those tiny little membranes in the nose and go straight up to the emotional center. And it is the emotional center that holds on to these feelings of that we need to let go, that it's time to let go. Would you agree? It gets down to the physical level, but it actually is really based up here. So, and next I'm going to use the blend of Joy. Now, I added this in, but a lot of you probably have Joy. And of course, it's also has a tremendous amount of geranium in it. So this can be a joyful time. Sometimes we think that moving forward, letting go of things is going to be a sacrifice in some way. No, it doesn't have to be. It can be joyful and fun every single minute if that is what we choose to do. So as we apply joy, and you may choose to use this blend quite often, just intend that every single experience be a joyful one. Now, some of them are more challenging joyfully, and it's a little more difficult to find the joy in that situation. However, it's there if we look for it. So let's just intend to look for it, okay? So I'm going to look at some of these cards just because this is kind of my prop. One of the things that geranium, that this forgiveness blend is in, is the earth combination. And the earth combination is all about grounding. When we're not grounded, it is very difficult for us to be really powerful beings, because we're just floating around. We're not focused. So this is an incredibly important part, because forgiveness anchors this very act of grounding. Would you agree? And then I put them in alphabetical order except for the first one. I don't know why that happened to be out of order, but it was. So the next one is disentanglement. And disentanglement is also very, very important. What does that mean? It means to we often get tangled up in doing projects. We get tangled up in other people's problems. Does that happen to you? We get tangled up in all sorts of things and forget what it is that we're really, truly choosing to focus on. So disentanglement will assist us with this, and the anchor of that, again, is this forgiveness energy, this frequency of forgiveness. Then another one is fulfillment. I really had fun going through these to see which ones truly are that first glyph, the forgiveness, is the big, big part of. How can we be fulfilled when we're continuously judging ourselves? And this is all part of judgment too, because we judge ourselves because we have not forgiven ourselves. Does that make sense? Okay. The next one is sovereignty, and sovereignty is all about overcoming that fear of rejection. We reject ourselves when we aren't forgiving ourselves. So how can we expect others not to reject us? We're anticipating that others will reject us. So as we begin to anchor more and more of this frequency of geranium, this frequency of forgiveness, truly forgiving ourselves for what we have done or not done in every situation, then we can overcome that fear of rejection and bring the passion, the fulfillment, the passion into every moment that we are here. Life is too short to be miserable. Would you agree? So let's bring that passion back into every single moment. Now, I was kind of going along with sovereignty. Another one that has the base, the very anchor, is the forgiveness, is self-worth. Well, when we're afraid of being rejected, it's probably because we feel that we may not be good enough. So this energy will help us understand the power and the value of who we are. Isn't that exciting? Then it will also help us. True law holds this energy to assist us in overcoming manipulation. When we're not grounded and we're not feeling that we are really good enough, it's very easy for others to manipulate us. Or, don't forget, we may choose to be manipulating others, which is very much what codependent relationships are all about. Would you agree? So this is that anchor again. So, and then finally, the unity consciousness, understanding just how everything, we can all work together in harmony. So I'm going to choose to use Harmony Blend, which is one of my absolute favorites. And if it's not yours, perhaps at some point you'll try it and find that it becomes one of yours. Several of these are in the Feelings collection: Forgiveness, Release, Harmony, all three. And of course, Valor is in the Feelings collection. And that's a great grounding blend. So just as if you have Harmony around or whatever oil, just breathe it in, intending. And if you like to visualize things, and just visualize those beautiful molecules traveling wherever they need to go to bring about harmony in every portion of your being. Now we're getting stronger and stronger with every breath that we take. Can you feel yourself getting stronger? And as we get stronger and stronger, we are refining ourselves. That growing and refining ourselves, actively refining ourselves. Isn't that exciting? So, as I said, I kind of added some extra oils in because it's really difficult for me ever to leave out believe, because that to me is the core of everything. And I actually was shocked because the original blend of Believe that came out in 2002 did not have geranium, but guess what? The newer version does have geranium. So if you have your Believe handy, give yourself a Believe shower and believe that you truly can go through every one of the steps to refining yourselves to be who you were created to be. And finally, I'm going to leave you with the blend Journey On. If you haven't had a chance to order this oil, this blend, give yourself this gift and think of G.A.R.Y every time. I was so excited to see that we actually have it in Singapore now. I brought it back from the US from convention, and we now have it so everyone, whether you were at convention or not, in Asia, Hong Kong has it as well, can order this blend and experience and intend to journey on, because this is a journey. Life is a journey, and we're constantly refining ourselves. So I challenge you this week to pay attention to what your thoughts are, particularly your thoughts pertaining to yourself. And think about how you can forgive yourself. You may just want to line up a few oils. You probably have geranium. You probably have several of these blends. Use them every day. Sit down and breathe them in, just intending to forgive yourself for those things that you feel could have been done better or that were not done at all. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. We'll take the second step, okay?